What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? It looks like Apple did not bring this market into a rally. If anything, disappointment coming from the Apple event and not really getting a lift at all. We'll talk all about the Apple event. We'll take a look at what happened there. We can even go through some highlights if you guys want to talk about the Apple event. I don't think there's too much there, but we'll talk all about it here. Some new features and stuff like that. A UBC charging. We'll get into that outlook and prices, titanium being made into the Apple Watch. So there's a couple of things, but let's talk about the best trade right now. And it was a killer trade, killer swing trade, one of the best trades of the year. We went after DraftKings yesterday, right here on the show. You guys saw me adding to it, looking to hold this, and look at that nice little takedown on DraftKings now. Just took some profits, still up a decent amount on this position. Going to go ahead and leave this alone now to continue working, as I've taken some profits already on the name and want to keep going. Of course, I might be getting a little bit greedy here, so I have to pay attention to where my outlook is going to go to. But if I take a look at the daily chart, we're about to hit the 9 EMA around 30.65. That's where I could see a little bit of some bounce, but we could go through there back towards the 30 spot, right? That's where we came back from on a little bit of a gap area. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Am I going to let this stock get back through 32? By no means necessary, right? From here on out, it will be a winner no matter what. It was a really great trade here in DraftKings. And how did I go after this? This was a buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. I was buying the rumor, trying to trade it up on the pen and trying to trade it up on MGM. It got the lift. DraftKings at least got the lift. And now that the event has happened, right? The NFL season has opened up. And a lot of people were probably buying up on Monday. You guys can see a nice little bull trap out the gates on Monday. Another bull trap today as it comes towards 32 and looks to break out. And now, if anything, I see a head and shoulders here that this could continue going down. So as long as it stays below this trend line here, right? As long as it can close back below that, back below, especially 31 on the day, oh, we're going to be looking great here. So we'll see what happens on this one. Not a bad position. I'm going to go ahead and kind of bring my other charting service up here, but I wanted to kind of show you guys that. So definitely smash the like if you guys enjoy me taking the time to give you guys the outlook on a really good win there in DraftKings. So smash the like up, guys. If you guys are excited to get into the market, let me know what was your top mover of the day. I'm going to go ahead and take a look into the rotation of the market. And we could also talk, of course, about my swing trades. Still have American Airlines on. We'll take a look at American. It's starting to turn around a little bit today. You guys can see American Airlines getting a little bit bounced off that 14. I'm really looking for the move back up through 1450s, going to 15. We'll see when that happens. For right now, I'm on the sideline and continuing to hold my position. I like it as long as it can hold 1350s pullback, and I'll keep an eye on these for sure. All right, let's get into another stock. Today, I did get short on MSOS on the day trade. This was a really good trade itself. I was trading this as it started to pull back here from the 65s. It ended up going towards the 40s, then came back and stopped me out break even right here at the 67s. But it felt like it was going to just do another fade, and it did do a nice little move. So be careful out there with the cannabis moves as I start seeing them pull back. Does it mean that the trade is done? By no means necessary, but one thing to definitely keep in mind is to see that these stocks start to break down on their dailies and creating highs. So MSOS had a couple of daily highs in the same area. So that's why I went after it, double topping around the 919. Could see us going back to the 9 EMA, which is closer to 772. So there could be some more downside before the kind of the drive comes back. But as you guys can see here, as of late, we're starting to drive back there, 846. We'll look to see if cannabis can come back. Let's take a look at energy. Energy, very, very strong. Did you guys see the moves in WTI today? You guys know I talk about WTI all the time here. And what did I say yesterday? Yesterday was looking for a move towards what, 85 or going back above 88s and holding. Well, clearly got it here, guys, as we get towards 89 today, and we got it all the way up to 89.37s. It's right off of 89s right now. We'll see what happens if this can continue the energy run, but it was a really great day to kind of catch pullbacks that happened yesterday. Look at this Chevron chart. Look at the hourly. Let's go towards the bigger. I'll take the kind of the levels off, but look how we pulled back yesterday and then climb right back into that today. So really good outlook there. If you guys were able to hold on that position, didn't move bad at all. Chevron, XOM, nice little pullback, continuing the strength. Oxy even back up to 66.40s from 64 this morning. Nice little lift there. We'll see what happens with these 66.40. That's not a bad move at all there on Oxy. Let's take a look at Valero. Valero has been strong and pulled back a little bit yesterday and continuing the strength almost there to 150. MPC, that's another one that had been really strong. Let me take a look at this. Let's take a look at the daily chart. It's up there to 155 and continuing new highs. This has been a monster stock here, MPC, on the recent run. Smash the like, guys, out there. We're going to get some more traders. It's good to see you out there. Kevin, Carmen, Marty Woods. You called Adobe's drop into earnings. We'll see if it can reverse from around the 540 level. Yeah, that was one thing that I could see it coming in, right? Is how is it going to go into the earnings? One thing that I noticed is that it's had 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to get through the 560 area. So it makes sense now to get at least a little pullback. Now I'll be watching to see if it comes into this trend line and breaks it, right? We drew this trend line we updated it on the 29th, just recently on September 29th, but created it on the 3rd, right? So I'm just going to extend this, right? Just expand it there towards where we're at now and looking to see if we can hold the 50-day moving average around 524.84 or that support line, trend line there towards 524 or 525. If that doesn't hold, then Adobe could pull back a little bit further. And I would look for the pullback because I think this is one of the best stocks in AI. But for right now, I just got to let this pull back. We'll see what happens with their earnings. Can they go ahead and show us really good numbers on their AI? That'd be something to think about. Another thing is look at the historical RSI down here. Historical RSI, and what I'm referring to is when has this stock turned around before? You can tell here that extremes are up here into the 90s, and it turns around on a consistent basis somewhere near the 80s. And you can see we didn't even get to that level right now. So we just recently got to a little bit of some topping action, and it pulled back. And it actually was going up as the RSI was pulling back. That's an actual positive sign and a negative divergence. Now you're starting to get the RSI to come down and the price action to come down. So that's a positive confirmation. Now we can look to see if RSI trickles down or starts to come back to 70 and 80s. If it does get back to 80s there on the earnings report, be careful because that also could be a topping action. We'll see what happens there on Adobe. Jay Rice said, don't forget CPI in the morning. And what did we see lift off? We saw oil lift off, right? So will that actually cause CPI to have a bigger spike? That's what I was talking about today. That's why I thought the market could continue going down because, of course, CPI coming in tomorrow. And what could happen is a higher reading in inflation, which could bring more talk that the Fed could not be done and could continue to raise even past the 25 basis points that some people expect to happen. So I think at this point, we looked at this. It did retrace a good amount of that recent run, now starting to come down. I think we just got to keep watch, right? I don't know which way the market's going to go right now. The only thing I can do is kind of watch where we go after the inflation print tomorrow. We'll see what happens. There are some strong stocks in technology that we can talk about, but as you guys can see, it's kind of a chop range right now. We can actually expand this line here, right? And kind of draw it a little bit further out and see what happens here, but it could come down to 442. We could stay in the 450 range. We could stay sideways for some time until we get out of it going into October, November, December. Then maybe we start seeing another run or another takedown. We'll see what happens there. Defense names have been selling hard. Sir Henry, you're not wrong about that. And we can take a look at RTX. Did it continue down today? Yes, it did. But as you guys can see, it's starting to work its way back now. Lockheed Martin, let's take a look there. Lockheed Martin also making another leg lower, and it doesn't look good here. I'll just be honest. It doesn't look good at all. We'll see what happens, but definitely not looking good here in the aerospace. And this is why I was a little bit concerned about the XLI, right? You can see the amount of red days that we've had lately. This is the industrial sector overall, right? I love to pay attention to what? Sector and industry analysis, right? Intermarket analysis, focusing on where the money is going and where it's coming out of. Right now, it seems like it's coming out of the industrial sector. Where is it going to? Well, you can see here, I definitely can see energy takeoff. And that just shows me more and more that, yeah, you could have seen some people getting back into some energy names as this is pushed higher. And I'm definitely not going to bet against Warren there. He's pushing pretty good with that one. Financial services having a lift today. That is interesting there because I was wondering if financial services could lift. Could they push the SPY into the green? That did not happen today as our leadership definitely let us down. Apple, Microsoft getting right back down, and Microsoft was starting to lead this rally back. Well, you could see the breakdown today was not pretty. Amazon is one that's hanging in there. Inside day today, if it takes out 43 tomorrow, won't be looking too bad. This is not a bad stock. I'd keep it on my radar. Nvidia was one that had an opportunity today. An opportunity to hold the 450s and get the upside move. You can see it here on the hourly, how it was fighting this move, trying to get back up through this trend line. It did get up there a couple of times, but not closing above there. That's why you see the bodies below the trend line. And now I'm going to take a look. Are we going to make our way back to 458 or a takedown here through the 444? If it's back through the 444s, we could see Nvidia really start to give up. That's the next move down through 440s and going down maybe towards the 420. Not a bad area that I want to watch right here. If it gets back above 460s, I got to be very careful because it could squeeze back to 500. So that's one thing that I'd keep on the radar. I feel like a lot of people were taking their shots off 450 today. And now that it's struggling, will they be able to hold on or will they let it go here towards the close? One thing to keep in mind. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other sectors out there. Adobe, a lot are like Oracle going into earnings. Nice stuff. Appreciate you with the nice little comment out there. Afternoon, Mitch. Cool call on DraftKings. Hey, sometimes even what do they say? A wrong clock gets the time right 2 times a year, 2 times a day. Hey, well, I didn't do too bad on that DraftKings outlook. Socks out. We can take a look at Soxal. Let's take a look at the technology area overall. Of course, I've been talking about NVIDIA. You can see Meta, another little bit of a bull trap here, was trying to get above the 308s, right back down to 302. If it breaks 300, it could start coming back down. So that's definitely something on the radar. Look at Oracle continuing right back down. How did Qualcomm do? It was doing well and then started to pull back. So you guys can see here on the hourly, it was starting to bounce back today. Now trying to hold 111s on pullback. We'll see what happens there on QCOM if it can hold these pullbacks. But it was a pretty ugly day there in tech. And look at the ARKK. This is one way that we take a look at what? At growth names. Take a look at what got hit the most today. Tesla with a big pullback and a little bit of a trap there towards 278. Went to 278 twice, double top there. Meta starting to work its way back. Roku working right back down. Shopify going down today. EKAS down a pretty good amount. NTLA starting to get hit there. A lot of these kind of ARKK names now starting to take a beating. Even CRISPR starting to pull back. What about Path? There's Path. Now that's down. This is looking interesting for me for a swing trade. This wrong stock there, Path. All right, so this is looking interesting for me for a swing trade to the short side, or even a short there for like kind of trade the pool overnight. This looks good here. I kind of like this outlook because it's been trying to pull back, and it did an opening washout today towards like where do we get this? We got down towards 1801. So this could wash out. Why do I like this? Right? Because if you look here, what did we do? We did a couple of attempts here to get back to the high, up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3, fails to get back towards 1897, and then starts coming back down. Could make its way back down to 1850s and maybe eventually cracking through the 18s. Not a bad outlook here. We'll see what happens. Bags letting me know you had a lot of good calls lately. And what I try to do always, right, is not necessarily it's about, patting myself on the back, but trying to be in the right areas, right? And that's why you see me try to focus on industries and sectors versus just stocks. When we focus on stocks, we get too stock specific a lot of the times, and then we could get crushed, right? That's why I try to focus on more trying to be with industry-wide moves and sector-wide moves so that I could be on what? Be with the bigger money, the institutional money, right? That's what I want to be trading with. We'll see what happens. All right. There it is. There it is, Hofinger. Every once in a while, even a blind squirrel can get a nut. That's the quote right there. Congrats on the best swing. Yeah, it hasn't been bad at all, right? And swing trading this year hasn't been bad. I think that you just have to be very slow. Like there's very rare times that I hold one position. I've been holding American Airlines since last week. When I went down from all the way back up there, I went to like 9 names, and then I came right back down. We took gains in Chevron. We took gains in Intel. What was the other tech name? I think it was there was one more tech name that I was able to take some gains on, but Intel today was really hot, now starting to turn back around. So this was the hottest tech name for me going into the day, and now showing me a little bit of some topping action after getting through the gap there, because there was this gap to the left-hand side that we were able to fill here. I created this on 9-8-3. We updated this just yesterday. Look how this came in to fill the gap here, and then completely went sideways here. So I'm going to draw this out here to the right-hand side. So look how this kind of filled the gap here and now is turning around. This is what all the time we talk about, these gap fillings and how things can turn around from those levels. So it fills this gap, comes right back up to these levels, and now starts to pull back. So I'd be looking for pullbacks here to 37, 36. If it can bounce there, I'll take a shot again on Intel. We'll see what happens there. AMD pulling back a little bit today. Can it hold the 105, or will it crush down through the 100? All right, let's keep going, guys. Financial services staying in the green. JPM is very important to kind of keep an eye out for. I'm going to watch to see what happens. It started to get above this hourly trend line, now starting to hold the pullbacks of 146. This is actually bullish for the banks. Can they come back and actually make an uplift? If the banks come back and you don't see destruction in the banks, that could be what can get tech to rally back. Of course, inflation reports are going to make a big difference here tomorrow, but something to keep on watch. If we look at other sectors here, utilities getting a nice little bounce. Industrials was an area that I was looking at today. Was Deere going to go green today? It was green earlier, now starting to pull back. I don't know about this one. I've been trying to call when these stocks would get another lift, but right now it doesn't seem like it's the time. And I think a lot of this is the defensive areas getting hit in industrials. If I look at basic materials, I see certain things up, certain things down. I do see coal up today, and I've been looking for BTU to finally get a run. Are we finally getting to the point where this stock wants to make a move? That's something that I'm keeping a close eye on. But let's take a look at the leaders, right? That's going to be AMR. And I've been talking about this for a while, that AMR is the best leader in coal, and probably right now I see it as the best way of playing coal. I played coal multiple times in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that was BTU getting stopped out of it. But if I focused on AMR, every time it's been pulling back to this 9 EMA has been a nice little buying opportunity and has continued to climb. CEIX, another one. Look at this one. This coal stock just seems to be really strong. So there are some coal players that are remaining strong. We might have to stick with the leaders, but definitely BTU starting to get a move today. We'll see if it can really start pushing. ARCH is another one that I'm starting to keep an eye out. Look how it's been making its way the last couple of weeks and starting to make its way towards like this 150 push. Can we get back there towards 150? Looks like it's in reach. It's at 143 right now. All right, let's keep going. We're better than blind squirrels. That's for sure, Turbine. If we can be better than the blind squirrels, it won't be too bad, right? Let's keep going. Technology was an interesting area today because I don't want to pay attention so much just to the bigger names, but solar. What happened in solar today? Maybe you guys can tell me. A lot of the times I catch what happened there, and I could have looked it up. SEDG getting a big bounce today, getting a nice little push. I was looking at a couple of names. SunPower was getting a big push. Look at that. What happened in solar today, guys? Honestly, this is just something that I'll think about, but something that I'm scratching my head a little bit on. What's going on in the chat? How we doing out there? Money Mitch, Ryan pronounces my name, Americanized German name correctly. Says Hoflinger. I must certainly do not fling hose around like a pimp. I'm not gonna lie, you got me with that one. I'm going to get that name right. Also, Hoflinger. I gotta get this right. Gotta get it right. I mean, Americanized German name. I got a German last name. You guys see it, Mitch Hoch. That's actually a German last name. I actually got German citizenship, but shh, don't tell the U.S. that. Hit the like, guys. Definitely smash the like button. If you guys aren't following me, you guys can always follow me on Twitter. I talked about my DraftKings trade on there. I give around a lot of sunrise reports, which are an outlook into what pre-market action. So definitely give me a follow. Money Mitch BZ on Twitter if you're not doing so already. Let's get back to the action. HCC, Jay saying for another coal name to keep an eye out for. Yeah, some of these are really good. The key is you're looking for what? You're looking for clean coal. I know how that sounds. Clean coal. Yes, that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for in the coal players. That's what AMR is. Clean coal. You guys can see it. You guys let me know what you guys think. All right, let's keep going here, team. Let's see what else is being mentioned out there. AMR, not a bad stock to keep an eye out. Let's get moving. Let's go to another area. Healthcare pulling back today. Can these stocks stay strong, right? We got a nice little inside day. And I think this is setting up here for something to keep an eye out for, right? So I didn't want to take some trades today, but I can see this kind of setting up, right? Now we need to take a look at what stocks are on the brink of breakout. So we could take a look here to see what stocks are making moves in health. Let's take a look here. Medical distribution. And I'm going to start with industries, right? We can go to all the industries in healthcare. Medical distribution. It looks like it was coming up here. What do you guys see? I draw this all the time. 1, 2, 3. Can it get through the fourth? It can't. If it doesn't get through on that fourth attempt, I look for a support test. Support got tested here. And what happened? It washed through support, then came back and started acting as resistance here. So maybe we could pull this up towards that resistance that it kind of held. And now we could start looking to see if this takes the next leg down. So these stocks I don't like, at least from the industry outlook. Healthcare plans. Now CVS has been really hot. And today, it was one of the leading stocks that I talked about on live trading with a good opportunity. I drew a trend line here, right on live trading when it was coming back through 69.20s. And I talked about how it was popping in the morning, and it could eventually get back to that pre-market high, 71. That was a monster outlook here, guys. That was a nice little kind of 2.7% call. We got up there towards 70.92. Didn't get completely to the 71, but this gets me an outlook that I want to keep an eye out for a stock like ELV, a stock like United Health, a stock like Humana, right? Will these stocks start to see the lift? And what are we talking about? We're talking about healthcare plans, of course. So you can see here on the daily, they were trying to make a move. I can draw maybe like a trend line here to kind of keep an eye out for, but it really needs to start moving in that direction if we're going to see a turnaround here, but we'll find out. Drug manufacturers, definitely one thing to kind of keep an eye out for. These stocks look like they want to stay hot. So if there's an area that could get hot again, it's the drug manufacturers and it's the bigger boys that I'd keep an eye out for. Pfizer turning around a little bit, Merck, Johnson & Johnson trying to make a move here, NVS coming back up. And I like this NVS because he pulled back into this trend line and reversed right back out of it. So let's see if it wants to make a move here now towards 105s. And if I look at some other ones, Merrick starting to get a nice little lift there. Can it get the move back through 110? One thing that I'd keep an eye out for is on more of the weekly candles here. And I'm going to erase the line so that we can draw this a little bit better. And it's already 4 o'clock here, guys. So I'm going to keep going for you guys a little extra. Smash the like button if you guys like me going a little bit extra. So you guys can see the weekly right here. This weekly, if it can start going back and getting back up here towards these highs, I could see for like a little break of back up above 111s going towards 115. Let's see if this can start holding and it really gets the volume on the buy. So I want to see increased volume, kind of like how you saw here, increasing volume. But when you got up to the next level, what happened? The volume decreased. Let's see if we get back to the next level, you get an increase of volume, and then you get a new breakout. That's what I'd be looking for. You can see the declining volume here based on this trend line. We want to see this spike above that, and that could be the lift to keep going. Of course, biotech is another area that I want to keep watch. This is one that has been starting to climb, and you guys can watch different names here. There's a lot of different names to kind of keep an eye out. NVO has been kind of one of the strong stocks. Regeneron, VRTX. We'll look to see if these can keep going. And of course, when you're talking biotech, another way to play this is IBB. This ALNY doesn't look too bad. I like how it pulled back beneath 200 multiple times. Now starting to make a move back. Can this get back up here towards like maybe 230s, 240s? Doesn't look too bad there. ALNY. IBB is another one that kind of keep an eye out. Back above 130, and even I will swing trade this. So I will create a price alert at 130. We'll see if it gets back up to those levels. That's why we drew this box. If it comes back into this space, these stocks are going to be looking really good. So we'll see what happens on this. I could even make this a little bit green so you guys can see that. We'll see what happens on that. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. What you think of CXAI? So CXAI definitely taking a major hit, and this just tells me that AI is coming back down. That's what this tells me, Carmen. Am I right? Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I can tell you right now, CXAI, Carmen, I wouldn't be touching it. Especially, I'd maybe short it, but then what am I going to get? Right? CXAI, like, why go shorting a name that has $1.85? Maybe it gets down there back towards this low here, 121, but for 60 cents, no touch. AI hanging on by a thread. I wouldn't touch this either. This looks like it could easily just wake up the next day and it'd be down towards like 23.20s, if not below that. It just seems like it's too much risk now for going for that reward. Kava, one that I called from the topping action. Look at this, guys. We drew this up here, created it on 8/08, September 8th. We were looking to see if this was going to start to crack. Look at this, guys. Just that weekend from the Friday the 4th towards, of course, the Monday here. And that was Friday the 11th. What day is this? Oh, that's the week. Here, let me go to the daily chart. So right here on the 7th, on the 8th, we started, the turnaround started happening in Kava. And I said, would this go through the IPO lows? And I thought, hell yeah, it's going to go through the IPO lows. I don't see anything like this going to be able to hold on here. And it opened up at a premium, right? This could be going down to $20. We'll see what happens. But Kava keeps falling off. We'll see how that affects the ARM IPO. That is coming soon, guys. Keep your eyes on that. And of course, tomorrow, keep your eyes on CPI. We'll see what happens. Where do I expect surprises? I expect a lot of people starting to think about oil and where the prices were. Will that create a spike in inflation? We'll have to find out tomorrow on PreMarket Prep. Hit the thumbs up. I hope you guys enjoy Start Swing Trade. I try to talk about a lot of different areas. Today, taking another swing trade in DraftKings in the Trade the Pool account. Got myself lower. It's down to 30.67. Who talked about that level? You know it. It's your boy, Money Mitch. I'll be here. Keep calling shots. You guys always keep me accountable, and I'll keep getting after the market. I'll see you guys bright and early on PreMarket Prep. Get after it, team. There's only one way We got to take shots and see what happens.